Welcome back to the channel. Tonight kicks off week 8 of the 2025 Canadian Football League season. And tonight's matchup features the Montreal Alouettes at the Calgary Stampeders. Calgary is 5-1, first place in the West. Montreal is 4-2, they're second place in the East. Now, Montreal is starting a backup quarterback, McLeod Bethel Thompson, who's stepping up in place of injured Davis Alexander. So let's take a look at tonight's game. Montreal is coming off a 26-25 win against Toronto. Meanwhile, Calgary is riding a 3-game upset streak, knocking off top Western Division rivals like they're swatting flies. They beat Winnipeg twice, including a 3-touchdown win last week, 41-20, and they also beat Saskatchewan. Now let's take a look at Montreal first on the defensive side of the ball. They are led by linebackers Darnell Sankey, Tyrese Beverett, who can smack you, cover you, sack you, and pick you off, as CFL's Jamie Nye puts it. And Montreal has a really strong defensive line. They're holding opposing offenses to under 70 yards rushing per game. And on offense, Montreal's strength is a strong offensive line. They protect the quarterback. They're really good at running the ball, which we're going to get to in a minute. That is going to be a big matchup tonight. Now, the injury to Alexander is a concern, but they have shown resilience with a lot of capable players, ready to step up. Now, talking about the offensive line, they have several highly graded linemen, including Pierre-Olivier Lestage, Justin Lawrence, Nick Callender, and Donald Ventrili. They also have in the backfield running back Sean Thomas Erlington, who is emerging as a reliable running back. And they also have Dejon Edwards, who's adding depth. They do have an injury at receiver tonight to Tyson Philpott. So a receiving injury, a quarterback injury, and they also have an injury on special teams with one of their key returners. Now, looking at Calgary, as we said, they're coming off 3 huge wins against 3 of the strong teams in the league. And they have a quarterback who's finding his groove and having a bounce-back season. Vernon Adams Jr., and after being traded away from the BC Lions, he's having a really good season this year. And he also has a wide receiver weapon who's becoming a playmaker in the passing game. That's Damian Alford. Alford has scored 5 touchdowns in the last 3 games. And get this, against Saskatchewan, Alford had 156 receiving yards. That is the most by a top draft pick since 2002, according to TSN. Now, on defense, the Stampeders do have several defensive standouts. They wreak a lot of havoc, cause a lot of turnovers. They have Damian Webb at safety and Adrian Green at cornerback. Webb has recorded multiple interceptions and also has a pick 6. And in week 2, Green earned top performer honors. Now, they also have defensive end Fuller and Remoulade and linebacker Derek Moncrief, who are also strong defensive players for the Stampeders. And Calgary's defense is the only defensive unit in the league that's allowing less than 20 points per game. And they've given up the fewest 30 yards or more completions this year. And they've been really effective at causing turnovers. They have 4 pick 6s through the first 7 weeks. So if you're Montreal, you got to rely on that offensive line, get that run game cranking. And as we said before, Montreal has a backup quarterback. They have an injury at receiver. And the special teams returner that I talked about, James Letcher Jr., he's out with a hand injury. Now, this is the matchup, I think, to look at tonight. Calgary has given up the most yards per carry this year, the most rushing yards per rush. So that's one of their weaknesses on defense. Now, as far as total yards go, they're kind of middle of the pack. They haven't given up that many total yards, but they have given up a lot of yards per rush. And Montreal has been extremely run heavy this year. And I think that's going to be the key for Montreal to try and keep this close. Montreal is a 7-point underdog, and I'm going to get to that in a minute. But before we do, let's talk about the Alouettes quarterback tonight, McLeod Bethel Thompson. He was acquired by Montreal last December in a trade with Edmonton. Edmonton acquired quarterback Cody Fajardo. Bethel Thompson is 37 years old. He is a veteran leader. He does have a lot of experience. Last year with Edmonton, he threw for over 3,700 yards, 24 touchdowns, and 11 interceptions. And he had a completion rate of just under 68%. So I think I'm going to go with Montreal covering the 7-point underdog spread. I think this is a game where, Calgary has looked really, really strong. Their one loss is to Ottawa. That was Ottawa's only win. But I think this has to be a game, I think, where Calgary doesn't quite look like world beaters like they did last week. And I think with Calgary's weakness on defense being giving up rushing yards and Montreal having a strong run game and a strong offensive line, I think Montreal could keep this close enough to cover that 7-point spread. So I'm going to go with Montreal plus the 7 tonight. And then make sure to tune in tomorrow. I'm going to be giving a preview of the weekend CFL games, as well as a preview of some of the Major League Baseball action that's coming up. Leave your comments below. Do you watch the CFL? Who are your favorite teams? What do you think of the CFL? And hope you enjoyed this video. And I hope you have a great day.